Good morning, everybody. Hello. 안녕하세요. Good morning. Oh, it's lovely to see you back here for day 2 of We Summit 2024, where we are back at the Busan Esports Arena in the beautiful, bustling city of Busan. Welcome, everyone. Oh, yesterday, what a day, right? We are back for day 2, but day 1 was absolutely phenomenal. And if you didn't join us day 1, where were you? I'll introduce myself again. My name's Laura McCluskey, and it's my pleasure and honor to be your host for the entire We Summit 2024, where we explore the world of esports. We dive into the insights, the fantastic ecosystems that are being developed all across the world, and we hear from the best in the biz, the rock stars of the esports world, to tell you all about how you can implement strategies, how you can develop your teams, and even more at this year's We Summit 2024. So yesterday during day 1, we had 5 incredible sessions, amazing speakers, literally rock stars of the esports world, and it was a lot to take in, right? It was a lot. You learned a lot, right? Yes, I love your enthusiasm this morning. A little sleepy today. We can get through it, don't worry. But today we have another 5 amazing sessions for you. It's going to be fantastic. The contents are tailored for everything you need to know about the world of esports. The speakers are fantastic. It's going to be epic. Can I say epic? Am I a little bit too old to say epic? I don't know. Anyway, it's going to be epic. Let's dive straight into session 1. This session is titled The Price of Passion. So fan culture can be both a very powerful motivator, but also a source of immense pressure for esports athletes. This discussion focuses on the extreme nature of fan engagement in South Korea and worldwide, and examines how the thin line between fan expectations and athletes' well-being shapes the esports industry. The moderator for this session is yours truly. So I will be delighted to moderate this session with some fantastic panel speakers. I am joined today by Hajar Ajun, a freelancer in esports, Sergej Parvatkins, president of the Latvian Esports Federation, Kedeng Lee, chairman of All Gamers Network Technology, Eddie Lim, head of international relations at Penguru's Bazaar Esports Indonesia, and Mohammed Naim, president of the Malaysian Electronic Sports Federation. Please join me in welcoming these rock stars to We Summit 2024. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Everyone's so quiet. Good morning. Good morning. There we go. We're having fun, right? Day 2, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to look at my phone. No, I'm not looking at Instagram. I'm not checking the latest league scores. I have lots of fantastic questions for you, and they are all here. So be prepared. How are you feeling this morning?
Good. I think maybe you should take the mics.
Yes, you can grab your mics. How are you feeling this morning?
Great. How are you?
Great.
Yeah. I'm good. Thank you. Thanks very much. So I'm going to go down the line and ask everyone to give your very best self-introduction. Who are you? What do you do? What are your achievements? Really sell yourselves. This is the chance for us to see who you are and the impact that you have on the industry. Ladies first.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I am Hajar Ajun. I am from Morocco. I have been a content creator for 8 years now in the gaming industry and esport talent for 4 years. And as well, I am a doctor in pharmacy, and I'm very delighted to be here with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Sergej Parvatkins. I am from Latvia. I'm a president of Latvian Esports Federation and the head of Latvian Unicon, Latvian Comic Con, for 12 years now. I am a law professional. I am a master in international European law, and I travel a lot, meet people, meet communities, our festivals, our Comic Cons, and of course, esports professionals.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lane Li. I come from China. You can call me, my Chinese name is Kedeng Li. I have 3 titles in my career now. The first, I'm a doctor in study in CEIBS. So I often do some research in in esports, and I want to publish a paper in the next 3 years. And second, I'm the president of the Chengdu Association, Esports Association. I often do something in the industry, esports industry. And the third, I'm the president of the AG Esports Club. I think this one is the largest esports club in the world. And then now, in the past 10 years, I worked three things. The first, in 2014, I built up a new brand in computer company that's named the Republic of Gamers in China. Now it's very famous in China and worldwide. And the second, it's in 2017, I create a new brand in esports club that's named the Rogue Warriors in China. The first title is League of Legends. And the third, in 2019, I joining this company, AG Esports Club, and to now. So I have 10 years experience in esports clubs. So I'm very glad to hear, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, I'm Eddie Lim. I'm from Indonesia. Right now I'm the head of international relations in the Indonesia Esports Federation. I'm the founder of Indonesia Esports Associations. Was a president in Indonesia Esports Associations, and I run esports since 1999, so it's already 25 years for me, with some major events like World Cyber Games, and then the IESF World Championship 2016 in Jakarta, and IESF World Championship 2022 in Bali, and also Asian Games. Yeah, I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eddie. If there's more, you can tell us later. Don't worry.
Okay.
Mohammed?
Hello, everyone. So my full name is Muhammad Naim Al Amin. In the industry, esports, they call me Dons, because maybe I'm the president of Malaysia Esports Federation. I just took over the office last year, December. So this is my first year as a president. I'm also one of the founder for Esports Association in my state, which is now already established about 8 years ago. So I'm trying to be a professional player, but my parents gonna meet with me, so that's why I'm trying to, to do and contribute in the esports industry, so I be part of the organization's esports in Malaysia. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What a fantastically diverse panel to start us off for day number 2. So, of course, diversity, inclusion, fairness is all at the heart of esports and the ecosystems we're trying to develop. But when it comes to fandom, that's not always easy to, I guess, to control. Not that you want to control the fans, but you want to implement systems where people are respecting the rights and the integrity of the players and the games. So what would you say is your role in helping to maintain all of these values when it comes to the fandom in your countries? Hajar, I'm just going to ask you.
Okay. So I believe that the people that have the most responsibility and the most effect when it comes to this and impact is definitely the content creators and the pro players themselves and the esports broadcasts. And why is that? It's because they are the leaders of the community and they are the role models of the community, and they are the people that the fans listen to the most. So for example, yesterday they were talking about watch parties when it comes to co-streaming, right? So imagine you're a streamer and you're doing a watch party for a certain game, and then you start not talking in the best way about certain player play. For example, flaming them and be like, oh, well, this player actually have no idea what they're doing. So you're saying this, okay, but your chat will take those words and will go spam them to, that esport player. So I believe we have this responsibility, and I understand we want freedom of speech and all of that, but we have to keep in mind that we have a big responsibility when it comes to educating the fans and making sure that we can give our opinion, we can criticize, but always remind the people that to be kind to others and behave in a positive way.
Yeah, there's definitely a certain way to behave so that what the impression that you're giving to your fans who really look up to you, they emanate your behavior. So you want to have good behavior, right? You want to behave yourself. We've got so many people from different aspects of the esports industry. So Sergej, I want to ask you the same question. What do you think is your role in terms of helping to maintain the integrity of fandom?
Well, as organizers, we have obligation and the right to set the rules. And the stakeholders, it's very important what influencers do, but it's even more important what is the policy of organizers, how they perceive things, and how they educate the audiences, and how, of course, they deal with the crisis, with all the drama, which is around, games and scandals. So in our production, we try different aspects. We communicate with our audiences, we talk with them, but it goes all the ways, not only the fandom, but also the players sometimes can be, let's say, toxic. So as leaders, as organizers, we have to talk to stakeholders and try to imply and sometimes even enforce the good.
You have to be the enforcers.
Unfortunately, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you've got to, because otherwise it would just you've got to have the rules set in place so that you can then, proceed forward in a uniform manner, right? And so with the events that you organize then, do you have any policies, what kind of policies do you have in place? Are there specific guidelines for making sure that the fans and the players are having, a positive experience?
Well, in terms of legislation or drafts, of course, we have a code of conduct for the athletes, for players, for gamers. Unfortunately, it's kind of impossible to enforce those rules on the huge fandom for all the fans. But let's say terms and conditions, if it comes to offline event, there are certain rules, behavior. Otherwise, you're going to just kicked out from the physical experience. But in general terms, for our own production, we try to have this policy. It's a policy, like maybe or this like My Little Pony fandom, and there's like friendship is magic. So we try to do friendship is magic no matter the odds.
Yeah, which is very difficult because you're across cultures.
Oh yes.
You have multiple cultures, multiple languages, multiple games, and so many stakeholders. It's a very difficult thing to uphold and maintain, so you must be very tired.
I mean, it's all worth it. In the end, you bring communities together, you bring entertainment, you bring the emotions, and it's all worth it in the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure everybody would agree as well. It's hard work, but it's so worth it. I'm just going to move on. Kedeng Lee, you are the president of the Chengdu Esports Association and the chairman of All Games. But I heard you also have 100 athletes that you look after. So you are Papa Bear to 100 athletes. Tell us a bit about that experience.
AG has a very long history because it's built up in 1999. And I joined in AG in 2019, so it's 20 years past, 20 years ago. So AG has a very huge fan base, and we have more than 350 million followers in the social media in China, and 2 million out of China. So for me, we have more than 200 players and more than 200 staffs to support them. So I think we have, for esports club, we have a lot of stakeholders like government, association, like legal, like sponsorship. But I think the most important is fans. They provide us love, passion, and money. Maybe we can earn money from sponsorship, but I think it's through the database, the user base, and the fan base. So in AG, all the players very love their fans. The largest fan base, the players, his name is Meng Lei. He has more than 140 million followers in China. So that's more than the population of UK plus French. And the second, his name is Ino. he has more than 31 million followers in China, and that's almost the same of the population of the Saudi Arabia. So I think they are very famous. They are superstar in China, and only in China, I think maybe they can have a so huge number, and they are similar to the single and the movie star, so they have a very professional to their fans. So for me, how can we make money in esports club? That's a very difficult way, but AG achieved this because we love fans always.
I think that's so important, and I think it's very honest of you to get in there and say it's about the money, because people don't like to talk about money. We always say it's for the passion, it's for the love, but money is a huge part of it, and it's got to be to keep the ecosystem turning over. So you have, I mean, really unprecedented numbers of fans, and I'm guessing that technology plays a huge role in how you manage that fine line between the passion of the fans and then the well-being of the athletes, and so tell us a bit about the technology use in fandom, I guess.
Yeah, I think technology is it's very important for us because we cannot hire 1,000 people to manage our social media platform. We have a lot of fans base. So also we create a app in WeChat named Yingbao. Yingbao, AG fans name, and we provide some goods, some products, and we can have some meet up with our fans. They can apply for the opportunity to meet our stars, and we communicate with the fans all days. Yeah, because we have a lot of operation staffs to do this.
Yeah, the communication is a full-time job, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
For 24 hours, always online for our company. Yes, this is serious. We have some operation teams. They are always meet fans always online. Yeah.
Wow, impressive. I mean, really impressive numbers, but it's China. So of course, right? It's China. Eddie, I'm going to move on to you now. So of course, you're the founder of the Indonesia Esports Association, the head of international relations of the Indonesia Esports Federation. You've been in it since 1999, and the mission of the Esports Federation is to develop and promote a stable esports ecosystem. Now, of course, that's not an easy task, and you've for sure encountered the great sides, the very positive sides, but also the negative sides of that. And so how do you see the role of fan culture in driving the growth of the Indonesian Esports Federation?
Actually, in my belief that the fans have a very great influence to the players in a good or bad way. Some players are very motivated because of fans, but when fans talk bad things about the players, some players also feels bad about that. So it is very important for the players. So usually we ask our social media or admin to talk nicely to the community and set the boundaries. So which talk is good for the players and which one is not good for the players. And sometimes in an extreme situations, we enforce strong rules, maybe take some legal action maybe, to make the fans know that there is a boundaries, something they can do and something they cannot do. So we just doing that way to the fans, because we know that some players, most of them, especially the kids, they don't have a strong identity. So for them, the influence from the fans could change their behavior sometimes. So for us, it's very important to manage the fans. Thank you.
And so, I mean, I love that you said that because it's so important, especially for young people getting into the industry. And I think we talked a little about it yesterday, how people perhaps might come to Korea and say, I want to get into esports. And then they believe it's just something you can step into. But it's a rigorous, rigorous schedule. You have to train incredibly hard. And for young people, that's not easy. So in your experience, what are some of the, I guess, the prevention measures or the strategies that you have for your young athletes to help them understand that fans will sometimes say bad things or fans might make you feel bad? How do you help them recover from that and get over these negative experiences?
Yeah. If in national teams, we are always hire a psychologist. In case there is something in the social media that influence the players or the athletes, we usually engage this psychologists to talk with the players. Because sometimes it's not only from the fans, but it's between themselves too. So yeah, we engage psychologists for this. And then we also hire a good social media admin to talk nicely to the gamers, the fans, whenever they are doing some toxic talk. You know, in Southeast Asia, a lot of gamers, they like to do toxic. Sometimes it doesn't mean they don't like the players, but they just think it is fun. It is funny. They talk the toxic only for funny things. But for certain players, it really influences their moral. So we are using psychologists to talk with the players.
Yeah.
You know, this is also a common thing we have as well, like in North Africa, where some people would be really toxic and would say mean things that you would not imagine. And
Do you want to repeat them?
No.
Okay.
And they'd be like, well, I was just kidding. And it's like, you can't really, you don't know me. Like, you can't say stuff like that to pro players. But yeah, so I think this is a common thing with Asia.
Yeah, I also think that
I would say it's a common thing everywhere.
Yeah.
Kids are kids and toxicity is toxicity.
Yeah.
And so, I was going to say as well, when you're dealing with a lot of young people, I mean, not to sound too technical, but the prefrontal cortex isn't fully developed. And so this like idea of kids being able to rationally understand what is and is not appropriate to say I mean, they don't understand the impact of it, but the impact is very real for the athletes, right? Yeah.
But I believe because they've seen pro players or creators say those things, that's why they feel like, oh, it's okay that I joked like this, you know. The sense of humor comes out of somewhere. It didn't develop from their families, I believe, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's a fine line between sense of humor or like dark humor and hate speech and toxic speech. Mohammed, hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello,
I'm
you're all the
here.
way down there. Hello. We haven't forgotten about you. It's far away, but I can still, I remembered
It's okay.
you. So I want to know, first of all, I want to hear a bit about where you're from and in your esports ecosystem. How are the fans? I mean, what is fan culture like for you and your athletes?
Okay, in Malaysia, actually, they have beauties about the taunting culture in Malaysia. When we do a lot of international events, otherwise, we can taunting the opposite players, but using a boundary that we already set up. So, in meanwhile, our players, after the games finish, just the game finish, they can go in front of the opposite player. They can shouting, but not using a bad things, but just shouting, just celebrates in front of the opponents. So that is the beauty in Malaysia. We allow that, but of course they need to set up of some of the boundaries there.
So what are the boundaries for that then? Because I'm thinking like straight into my brain UFC, or like before a boxing fight, you've got the athletes standing off against each other, and there's certain things that they should do, shouldn't do, but they often break the rules. So what's your experience?
Yeah, of course, we need to draw the lines between the, between both of the athletes, between the fans and athletes, and we need to set up we need to recognize the athletes' rights, to have maybe some of the privacy, maybe some of the boundary that need to set up by not just only for the team itself, but from the organizer, also the federation, they need to take involved to set up the boundaries. Yes.
Yeah, because well-being and privacy for athletes, and I guess for especially the bigger athletes, is such a huge issue. They're famous, they're celebrities, right? And so, but do they have the same level of protection that other celebrities would have? I mean, do they have security teams? Do they have all that?
Yeah, of course. We know that the athlete is a public figure, but of course they need to have, they're like humans, they're like respect, to giving them respect, to giving some of the privacy things, maybe from the personal matters, or maybe some of them have mental health, maybe from the family matters. So we need to protect them, because we cannot say that, when you be a fan, so you can do anything that you want to the athletes because you own them. No, actually, you are not own them. You giving support to the ecosystem. So we need to giving awareness to the fans, and also need to do a lot of campaigns that what should, as a fan, what should actually you take, what you didn't do to support the athlete itself. Like an example, maybe I can give some of the athletes maybe in the titles of the tournaments or outside the tournaments, or also inside in the social media. So we need to have the act, to have what we call the boundaries to make the fans not just only have bad perceptions towards the things that happens, but of course to have a more empathy to the athletes and supports them any decision that has been made by them.
It's such a difficult thing to do because there's such a huge fan base, and like we said before, that's so diverse. I'd like to open this to the panel then. What are some of the ways that your organizations or the people you work with are actively trying to, I guess, negate the negative impact, or to lessen the negative impact and the negative behavior from fans? Sergey, you want to go?
Yeah, I guess the main aspect would be the balance. To get the balance straight is because there's no fans, there's no fan base, there's no viewership, there's no money. It's always about the money. And yes, most important are the sponsors, because esports is very expensive to set up. All the build-ups, it's hundreds, millions of whatever currency you use, but it's worthless without the viewership and the fan base. And they need the show, the spectacle. They want to relate to the athletes. We want to follow their successes, to live through their also unsuccessful days. But it's all very emotional. And when it's about emotions, you can have whatever rules you want to set, but in the end of the day, it's about a person. Especially esports is quite young, both athletes and the viewership base. It's getting older, but it's a very new industry. And the main challenge is to keep the balance of enjoyment, legality, and safe environment for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hajar, I'm going to move to you as well, because as a female in esports, you are a minority. So how about you? What would be your take, especially on the negative behaviors of fans, and in your experience, and how do we balance that? How do we kind of control that certain behaviors happen, but still maintaining a positive experience for everyone?
Well, I had my fair share of receiving hate. As you mentioned, being a woman in this industry is not the easiest thing. You really have to have thick skin. And sometimes, you might get hate just because you're successful and you're a woman, and everyone will claim that you're there because you're a woman.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's the only talent you have is your gender. Well, obviously that's wrong. And I think, again, this is deeply rooted in misogyny from like such a young age. But I genuinely feel like, well, especially like in Africa, in Morocco, I have seen a change when it comes to the fans' ideas and behavior in terms of this. And I've seen more support towards women in the industry, and they're more welcome. And so now people are just toxic to you personally and not specifically because you're a woman. But yeah, it's been really nice, and I see more, especially games such like Valorant, they really encourage the women in this space, and you see so many more female esports athletes, and I believe that's really amazing. So we're seeing more and more girls join in, and I feel like in few years, we're definitely not going to be a minority anymore.
Yeah, and I love that. And would the panel agree that in your respective federations and respective countries, there are more female participants coming up?
Yeah, for my country, we Malaysia, we know that women's maybe they are actually very good in becoming athletes, but they have a talents. But maybe some of them are shy to to go to the offline competition. So that's why in Malaysia we design a competition for the women's only. So all the hosts, all the referees, all the marshals is handled by women. So they can give some opportunity to women to go out to the offline tournaments.
Yeah, Eddie, you were about to say something.
Yeah. In Indonesia, same. So we know that there is half of gamers is a woman, and in 25 years I'm running esports. It is dominated by men, by male. So in Indonesia, 2 years or 2.5 years ago, we started the all women league in every games, Mobile Legend, in PUBG, Counter Strike. So we started a women league because we know that half of the gamers is a woman. Yeah.
Okay, Deng, how about you in China? Is it the same?
I think not quite the same. First, I think the gamers in China is very female gamers in China is very huge number, about 36%, and the male is about 64%. Yeah, and a lot of female joining the game, and they love games so much. So there's a game in China very famous is HOK, Honor of King. A lot of female joining, but we are start to build up the female league about 2 years ago, but I think the female league is not famous popular like the male league. So I think that's not a professional league. That's just a gamers party. In China, I think, because the fan base is very quite different. So I think, but in the future, I think in female league it's a very good direction for us. Actually, we joined a lot of titles like CS:GO female, like HOK female, and something that. But I think in China, the female league will be a long way.
It's funny, a lot of people turn to China for benchmarking, but now you have to turn to other countries for how to run the female leagues. You have to benchmark other countries. Come on, China, step up.
Because Chinese lady always work. The work rate is very high. Yeah, that more than I think that it's the top one in the world. Yeah, so they not always play games.
They don't have time. Sergey, how about you?
Yeah, actually, we have hosted one Counter-Strike tournament, offline one, with a mixed team, and it scored second. So, I mean, it's up to the organizers to set out the rules for this perspective. But actually, I want to point out another challenge for the environment. It's, of course, it's about the fan base and the athletes, fan base and the fan base, the toxicity, but there's also the fan base and the athletes and the industry and the society, how they are perceived, and there's more challenges there.
So then I'll just go back to my question that I asked a few minutes ago. Like, what if there's certain negative behaviors? How do you handle those, like directly, regardless of whether it's, you know, male athletes, female athletes? If someone is being toxic, if someone is demonstrating certain negative behaviors, how do you handle those behaviors? How do you stop those participants from perpetuating this toxicity and creating a negative environment? Anyone?
Yeah. In Malaysia, we already create the guideline. We call it NESDEC, National Esports Development Guideline. So from the guideline, we have about 6 pillars. One of the pillars is about the athletes. So the athletes might have the contracts and so on. The second pillar is about the organizer to organize the events. So we also have the guidelines to, you know, the organizer to set off the, when they are doing the organized event, so they need to have follow the rules of the esports athletes acts. So that's why Malaysia nowadays, our since esports in Malaysia, there are, you know, many of people participates in the event because their feelings like very safe. Even though the women's, we also have the harassment parts in our guideline also.
Eddie, how about you?
Yeah, I believe that those viewers, fans, sometimes they talk toxic, sometimes because of the players or start first. So we strongly tell the players that they shouldn't do these toxic things. It's very important because when they talk about toxic and then suddenly all fans coming, yeah. So this is one of the very important things, and we give them a hard punishment if the players do the toxic first. Actually, it's funny. When I start running events 23 or 4 years ago, we got the sponsors. That's the first time we get the sponsors, and we know that the sponsors doesn't like when the gamers. That time the gamers are also toxic. The players, they toxic each others. So we implement very strong rules that 3 times you like a footballer, yellow card and red card. And if you talk toxic, 5 players, 2 times, and then 1 player's out. So 4 players. That means their teams could be lost. And we implement very strong rules. And it's really funny that some players, they bite back, they bite the tissue, they bite everything. Sometimes players, they have their mouth closed by the tape. I asked the players, why do you do that? He mentioned that my friend is very toxic. He cannot stop his mouth. So all of us just tap his mouth so he doesn't speak it. So what I mean is we implement from the player first. So they shouldn't do those toxic talk, and before we implement to the fans. And for the fans, whenever the toxic talks are coming, we use some humor or funny way to reduce this toxic. So when they talk toxic, we don't asking people to, okay, you should forget. No, we just turn it into the humor thing, something funny. So after that, the people that do the toxic, they just do some funny, and then suddenly the toxic become not toxic anymore. It's sometimes funny.
Redirection, a good redirection technique.
Yeah, we do the redirection. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's such a good way to diffuse any kind of situation, just in life, you know, when something is high intensity, high pressure, to deflect and to redirect with humor. That's what I do all the time when I make mistakes. I make a joke. Nobody notices. That's a joke, by the way. What? Stop it. So listen, before we open the floor to questions, because we've got about 4 minutes before we actually open the floor to questions, what I would love to do is just go down the line here, and I want to ask you for your kind of biggest insight or biggest takeaway in terms of fandom, you know, the fans' engagement and how you've really experienced it in your tenure in the esports industry. So we'll start here.
So when it comes to the Moroccan and African esport fandom, I believe it's very unique because it's deeply rooted in the sense of community and nation pride. So for us, like in Morocco and Africa, when we see a player representing us, specifically like in Morocco, everyone will support that person, even though they have nothing to do with gaming. You know, you could have people who don't know what Twitch is, what gaming is, but because there is this certain player who's representing Morocco, they will go and support him just for the sake that he is Moroccan. They sometimes might not even like that person, but because he's representing the country in an international stage. And this is why we feel like Africa in general and North Africa, when we have someone representing us, we really want them to do the best because we are the underdogs when it comes to this industry, and we have so much to prove, and we want to show that we have a lot of talent from our continents. So yeah, we're very driven when it comes to esports and passion, and also to get into esports is much easier than to get into certain sports, because to get into esports, for example, mobile, you just need to have a mobile. So it's much more accessible, and especially now, because the infrastructure got so much better internet-wise. Before, it was really hard, and we would have like grassroots tournaments to just make sure that the passion is still alive. But I'm very grateful for how, you know, now with the Moroccan Esports Federation, how things are growing.
I love the underdog story. Everyone loves it. So watch out. The underdogs are coming up, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Speaking of mobile, I want to say congratulations on all the achievements that have been going on, Mohammed. All the championship wins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I want to open it up to just very quickly, if you could briefly give us kind of one nugget of insight, of information that you would like to share.
For my countries,
Just in your experience, whatever
my
advice
experience,
you would
yeah,
like to give. Yeah.
of course, you know, Malaysia, we have a different culture, different race, but we always, you know, taunting each other. But when we come for the flags, so we unite together, like we did in EWC, like we did last time in WEC, and now currently in the M6.
Yeah, I think, you know, I see that across all the national federations. I see this huge pride that everyone has, and it's very inspiring. Eddie, how about you? Before we open the floor, do you have anything extra you'd like to add?
Yeah, fans for me is very important, fans, because for me, fans is like oil for esports. So the fans, there's a lot of fans. It can bring the talents. I mean, a lot of players, they starting to want to play, to become the good players. Some of them because of the fans. So you know, when we are having a match, 100 people watching us, cheer for us, and 1,000 people is different. They have a different feeling. And a lot of young gamers, when they saw there's a lot of fans, they saw good players have 1 million followers, they want to be that person. So for fans, they can push esports into a recent direction. So for me, fans is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. Gentlemen, would you like to add anything?
Right, I would like to highlight the issue about the toxicity in the fan base and the athlete community. It's very important for organizers and the authority to combat it, because toxicity leads to the attitude change, and unsportsmanship behavior between athletes and how much athletes and the fan base are connected with live streams. The athletes and influencers influence the audience, but also audience influence influencer. So they can get the bad influence and can lead to match fixing and other things. So it all starts with the connection with the fans.
And it's such an important point because negativity begets negativity, positivity begets positivity. So when you have negativity, it's faced with more negativity most of the time. So vice versa, being able to create that positive atmosphere is so important. Finally, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, in the past 10 years, in the first 5 years for me, I was a sponsor to the esports club. So I have sponsored a lot of teams in China, in Korea, and in Southeast Asia. So I realized that the number of the fans is quite different in the different country, and the culture of the fans is not the same. Because in China, we always think the key player is as a star. He can stand in the arenas and the other audience cannot close to him. But in the Southeast Asia, I think it's quite different. So in the next 5 years, I create an esports club, and I want to let the esports club become the most influenced club in the world. But in China and in the rest of China, in the world, it's quite different. So we are starting to start from China to oversee. This year, we have set up about 8 teams out of China. So we are learning how to do some business, not in China way. So, and I have seen the second direction is this is globalized, very important, and a big chance for all of us. So the Western esports club go to Eastern, and the Eastern club as well. So I think there will be a cool global, and to make the culture and the esports make be together, I think.
Yeah, and that's why events like this are so important, because it really does bring together so many people from all around the world. And when I was getting my makeup done this morning, I know I didn't wake up like this, but she was asking me, wow, so many people from so many different countries. Do they all speak English? And I said, yes, the only people that don't speak English here at this event are Korean. And she was very surprised. She's like, wow, everyone's so global. And I think that's the beauty of an event like this. Everyone has the same passion, the same drive, and the same direction. And sharing ideas is the only way that we're going to make this bigger, better, and more effective and healthy for everybody. I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to open the floor. We've gone over a little bit, so we've got about 12 minutes for questions, Q&A time. So if anyone would like to ask a question, could we get a mic down here? Or I can give my mic and use, there we go, we've got mics.
Okay, so just a couple of comments. I mean, as the gentleman rightly said, China as a whole environment doesn't actually encourage toxicity in anything. So it's not normal, you know, I mean, fans would not be commenting, and neither would the athletes. Athletes are very respectful in all the mind sports, basically, whether it's Weiqi, Xiangqi, or international chess. Athletes are absolutely perfect. You will never get any toxic remark from any of them. So that's a culture, and that leads itself then to the fans. So the way the athletes behave, the way, of course, the government, the organizations are leading is ultimately very good in control. The West, we suffer more from it because, of course, we feel we have a freedom of expression. We want to say things. The athletes believe they're free. Also, of course, in IESF, you have an issue, or at least in the esports world, you have an issue, is that you don't have an ethics code which can be far-reaching, which means the athlete, even if you might, let's say, sanction him, he can go and play easily elsewhere on platforms without actually having a negative effect. So it's not like in traditional sports. If I sanction an athlete in a traditional sports, he's banned completely in private and international events. Whereas in esports, of course, you have many forums where the guy can just jump to other areas. So that's the first part. The second part is on the female part. You touched on it. Gender equality in sport, of course, is a huge discussion, huge topic. IOC has many initiatives. All international federations have initiatives on gender equality. There's many programs. Some countries are more advanced than others. The target is to have 50-50. In reality, in every single international federation, it's more like 80-20, 90-10 in many mind sports. So how to encourage it is to basically make, of course, more opportunities for women to play, give them more income, because even sometimes the prize money is not equal. So, I mean, the prize money is much lower for women events, so that means there's no real incentive to participate or spend time on that. Also insist that in certain competitions you have a ratio mix of men to women, so you have more mixed events, because again, I was following some videos on YouTube of CS2, for example, and it's nearly 100% male. So unless somebody says, listen guys, at least one female, or at least you can say one female, one male, and then the other three can be whatever you like, let them be men or female or whatever, but you insist that at least there should be one of each gender, then that's fine. So there are many ideas. All these are cross-sport. It means it's not specific to esports or anything, but all these programs are available. And public domain, there's tons of information on these programs. IESF can participate. It can encourage more and more, you know, these programs to be adopted across the federations. Participation in the leadership. I haven't yet met a female IESF National Federation president. So it's also good to encourage. You understand? These are all areas that eventually you guys should be looking at. So those are just some small points.
Thank you for your comments. Does anyone have a response? No. The answer is no. Question.
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm Li Zhang, yes, from China and from ADG, and I'm also in charge of our ADG sports. But during the past 1 day and a half, I guess I've already met many new friends here, and also thanks, Boban, for inviting me here. It's interesting actually to hear everyone talking here about the price of passion, and you were discussing a lot about the fans, but I have also one question and also one thought in my mind. When I was looking at the topics, even before coming here, and also while listening to what you were saying, I think for esports, it does need a lot of passion. For example, when I'm thinking about the players, if they're going to have the very long hours of training every day, yes, unlike playing some video games for a very short time. And also when we are looking at the esports clubs, as many people here, it's not an interesting job. It's not easy to make money. And also when we're looking at the investors in this field. So my question is, when comparing this, for example, to other sports, football or NBA, how they run the club to make like profit, and how also for the players to be treated like real stars everywhere globally. So my question to the persons on the stage is, how long do you see in the future for esports it can kind of catch up like actually what the other popular sports is doing? And also, do you have some suggestions on speeding up this process to make esports really like that, not only nowadays just as, well, supported or powered by passion, but also by the practical and also reasonable business models? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. When I set up the esports club, I want to do a sustainable, profitable club. So this depends on who drive this business. So in the past long years, that's the founder to the esports club always be the lover for love. Yeah, and then in China, it's the second generation, like capital, right? And for me, I think when I joined the esports, I think I just want to buy business. So we are not only break even now. We can earn money every year in the past 3 years. That's very difficult. Yesterday we talked about with T1. That's really difficult for all the esports over the world. But I think maybe we have a very huge fan base, and we can do some variety of the business things. Like we have a bar in Chengdu, we have a restaurant in Shanghai, we have a esports hotel in Hangzhou. So we can earn money from the different ways. For me, esports club is just an IP. We want to make the IP be bigger, and maybe we can let the business run. I think this is the very huge, very big way. And another way, I think in China, the government not allow the young people to play games every day. Yeah, they ban their time to only they can play in the Friday to Sunday, and only 1 hour every day in the weekend. So we should provide some activity things to the government. Maybe we got golden medal in Asia Games, and we can get champion in the worldwide, such as IESF, maybe the next Olympic Games. So maybe some activity things make truth. I think the government will give us more support to let the things be happy. But the only thing, I think the most important thing for esports club is be kindness to fans, and we can get the reward. I think so.
Thank you. Eddie, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I want to add something that one of the main challenges for the esports industry is we don't have a paid customer. I think that is the most important thing, one of the main challenges. Because those gamers, those viewers, they are the paid customer for another industry, for gaming industry. They spend for the gaming industry. But to the esport, they don't spend. Everything is free. So esport industry only depend on sponsorship and maybe investment. Because we have big customers, big number of customers, but they don't pay. So this is the main challenge for the esports industry. My two cents suggestion is the event organizer, maybe the federation, should think about how to turn these viewers, these customers of esports into the paid customers. Should focus on that. Because most of the event organizers, they are only thinking about the tournaments, who become the winners, that's it. And then they think this event is a success because already finished and then got some winners. But the most important thing is we have so many, esports has hundreds, millions, maybe billions of viewers, customers. But they are not a paid customer. So this is the main challenge for the esports industry. Yeah, maybe for the, for example, I have, when I run tournaments, I have maybe 1 million viewers. And then next year, I have 20 million viewers. Everybody will satisfied, right? We got 20 times more viewers, more market. But does the revenue coming to the industry 20 times more? No. All of them is free. So this is the main challenge for the esports industry.
Thank you, Eddie. Sergis.
Yeah, so I do agree with both of you, but there is a solution. Sustainability, what IESF is doing right now and trying to do is to get the system, worldwide system, that is unified code of conduct, code of tournaments, and then each country worldwide has a system, registration of athletes, the rules of competition, then we have a worldwide ecosystem, and then they all can monetize those viewership to do the offline events and to have a cooperation, and then all those big numbers will turn into profit.
Yeah, maybe I can add more tips, to sustain the teams, because in Malaysia, we not just only focus on the esports tournaments, but we focus to change the entertainment for the esports. So, we can create more fans, because fans, they're not just like to see in the games, but they wanted to know every single inch of the player itself. They want to know how they wake up in the mornings. You know, they want to know some of the activities. So that's why in Malaysia we create the entertainment for the esports, so we can create more fans, and fans that giving support back to the ecosystem, buying merchandise and so on. Like one of the team in esports in Malaysia, we call Homeboys. Last year, they're selling about 50,000 T-shirt, jersey, buying from fans buying from them. So they can sustain the teams. Yes.
Thank you all so much for your insights, of course, discussing, well, it was more of a global panel rather than something focused on South Korea. However, we are here. We're here all week. We're here for the rest of the day. So, of course, if you have any other questions, please do jump in, grab one of these fantastic experts and ask them all of the questions you have. We want to say, though, big thank you to the fans for supporting all of the athletes in this fantastic ecosystem, wherever it might be. And we look forward to a very healthy and sustainable future in esports and fandom as well. Please give them a huge round of applause for their contributions. Fantastic. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be back at 11:45 a.m. for our next session, Esports Philanthropy. We'll see you soon. Thank you.